Good evening, Bhante and Kalyana Mita. Namo Buddhaya and Sukhi Hotu. I'm Aliana and welcome to TRV Friday Sutta discussion by Bhante Dr. Ganggoda Wila Chandima. Due to some technical problem, the class has been delayed for a while. Sorry for the inconvenient cause. Tonight's class is the day 134 of Sutta discussion class, the first Sutta of Cunda Sutta, the first class of Cunda Sutta with topic the introduction. Cunda Sutta is the 13th Sutta that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this Sutta discussion. In previous classes, Bhante has discussed about Mangala Sutta, Ratana Sutta, Metta Sutta, Sigalowada Sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Sabasava Sutta, Patakama Sutta, Patama Samajivi Sutta, Alawaka Sutta, Dajaga Sutta, Virimananda Sutta, and Chulakama Vibhaga Sutta, which Bhante has elaborated those sutta in there. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amampadana Klang's Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous classes there. We are always welcoming newcomers, therefore please share around about this class to other friends and family members so that whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom where we can engage directly with Bhante can contact the Vihara through TRV Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. Or you can join the class from Ti-Ratana Vihara Facebook channel where we broadcast the Sutta class live on every Friday evening from 8:30 p.m. till 10 p.m. Kuala Lumpur time. Now, let me introduce about our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggoda Wila Chandima, who is the Associate Editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, or JIBS, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn Raja Vidyalaya University in Thailand. Bhante was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, or CSRS, at University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also a Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, from year 2012 till 2016. Recently, Bhante Chandima has joined Ateneo de Manila University in Philippines as Assistant Professor of Buddhist Philosophy. Bhante is also the Senior Advisor to Patisota, a virtual Dhamma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussion, Dhamma talks, and a variety of other Dhamma activities. His Dhamma work can be accessed at www.patisota.blogspot.com, and we also can follow Bhante's work at Patisota Facebook account. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante and happy Teachers' Day. And as always, thank you very much for the wonderful guidance and teaching. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana, for the gracious introduction. And welcome everyone who have been joining our Sutta discussion regularly, and perhaps one or two might be joining new today. Perhaps they should be able to catch up with our sessions. And plus today is a new Sutta discussion. I mean, new topic, new Sutta is going to be introduced. So once again, good evening, everyone, Dhamma friends, and let's pay respect to the Buddha before we start on. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today we have Aliana, Lim, Peso, Aaron, Kim, Sadiris, Margaret, Ho, TC Lim, Barbara, Nain Cheng, and I, so your sister as well, Nain, Melinda, Sumita, Puchu Wong. I think Nadira is new to our discussion, I guess. Right, Aliana? Nadira, Kalim, Kema, you only, Ho, Ik, Lee, Bristol, Cindy, you, Iris, Mia, Margaret Chu, Hema, and Chan. And some others might be joining perhaps as we proceed. So today Our new sutta is going to be, as you have already seen, Cunda Sutta. Cunda, C-U-N-D-A. This is a name of somebody, someone who was doing some work during the Buddha's time. So, what is Cunda Sutta about? Why did I choose this sutta? This is very interesting to discuss at the beginning. There are so many suttas to discuss. Now, Cunda Sutta is one of the very important suttas to discuss in terms of understanding purification. Is purification important to us in terms of Buddhist purification? We have our own ways to purify. We want to take a shower. We want to keep our houses clean and tidy, right? We don't want to have a mess in our place. We don't want to be hoarders, and we want to let go, and we want to renew, right? Now think about Vesak 2025 came a few days ago. So we are renewing our commitment to our own spiritual journey, right? We are looking back. We are trying to understand whether we have been following the Buddha teachings in a more practical, proper way, right? So this is why purification is very important. So this sutta is talking about the Buddhist purification, which we will discuss in, I would say, four more sessions. So today and three more sessions for the contents of the sutta and then conclusion. It's not a very long sutta. So I hope that we can keep up easily because sessions are not that many. First of all, I want to discuss about the introduction part. Now, you may perhaps remember Chunda in very important historical details. Where do we find this Chunda in the history, in the life of the Buddha? Can anybody remember?
Parinibbana Sutta, Bhante.
Mahaparinibbana Sutta is one of the main sources. And there are many other suttas. This particular sutta, Chunda Sutta, and there are a couple other suttas in some other Nikayas. So, what really happened to the Buddha with Chunda? Now we understand Chunda invited the Shakyamuni Buddha to visit his place. He was living in Pava, city called Pava. And then he went to Pava. This was just before he passed away, probably very near to his passing away. And then what happened? When he went there, Chunda, what do you call this particular person called Chunda, he's called as Chunda Kammara Putta. Yeah, I'm going to send that to you. His popular name, Chunda Kammara Putta. Chunda Kammara means Chunda who works in metal industry. Perhaps he owned a metal business, Chunda Kammara. So he invited the Buddha over to his Ambavan. Perhaps he had a mango grove, and he invited Buddha and other monks over to this place. And then it is said that he prepared three things to the Buddha and other monks. Now we are also going to talk about the Buddha's last meal, the way how we look at it. And it is said that he prepared sweet rice, cake, and sukara madda. This is the most complicated food item, actually. A lot of people have different opinions, Theravada, Mahayana, and other schools. So, sweet rice, cake, and sukara madda. Now, what happened was that when he was serving the Buddha and other monks, the Buddha said to him, it is said in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Chunda Kammara, you don't need to serve Sukara Madhava with the other monks. So you can offer what do you call, sweet rice and cake with all the monks with me, but Sukaramadava thing, don't serve with them. You only offer to me. And the rest of the Sukaramadava, you need to dig a place and bury in that hole. This is little concerning about. Did the Buddha understand this particular food is going to give him a hard time? Was the Buddha conscious that he will be ended up with dysentery after having this Sukaramat? This was a very concerned situation. Why did he not allow other monks to eat this? So Chunda Kamara did the same thing. He said, okay, I will follow, copy it. And then what he did was he uh, dug a hole and then uh, put all that into that particular hole. This was what happened. And after having this food, the Buddha seems getting certain food issues. We could potentially say it was a food poisoning in a way, willingly or unwillingly. And then what happened that it is said that the Buddha wanted to go to Kusinara, that was 3 gawas from there. It is said that during that short distance, he stopped 25 places to rest because he was not comfortable. He was almost going to faint, and then he had to cross the Kakutta River, and then he had to stop for these 25 places. And then because of this illness, dysentery, he got. But now I tell you, what could be this Sukaramanta? Now, the Theravada view, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta's commentary, Sumangala Vilasini, and many other places is that the literal meaning of Sukara Madhava. Sukara means pick, Madhava means tender. So it could be tender pork. Maybe perhaps it could be, you know, there are so many translations for that, soft pork or tender pork. Theravadins
后面的插头，看它插头，那个小小的灯，小小的灯有没有？
okay. So Theravadins are very adamant, very concerned, very sure that this was something about pork. Either people like or not. This is what they say. But the Mahayanis, they took it differently because they're looking at true vegetarianism. They say, no, this is mushroom. Perhaps something that was grown in the place of the pigs. It's kind of a mushroom. So anyways, the debate is going on, but we don't find very exact, precise information other than Sukara means pig in Pali. Sukara means pig, Madhava means soft or tender. So anyways, whatever the thing that he had to eat at that, because monks don't request, right? Devotee, please cook this for me. They are not asking like that, right? Whatever they are bringing to the monks and nuns, they're going to eat. If they like, they will eat. Otherwise, they will say no. In their way, they might cover their arms bowl. So with all these provisions, we cannot come to a conclusion what exactly this Sukara Madhava was. So it's still in some textual debate. But literal sense, it is Sukara means pig, Madhava means tender pork or soft pork or something like that. But the Mahayana idea is this is something that was grown in a rearing place of the pigs, something like that. But then when Buddha felt that he was going to become very ill, he knew Chunda Kammar will be unhappy about it. This could happen, right? Let's say a devotee offered some dana, and the devotee get to know the monk is going to be sick because of my food. He or she is not going to be happy about it. But you know what the Buddha said? The Buddha asked Venerable Ananda, you go tell Chunda Kammara, don't worry, you are getting the same good karma, just like Sujata. Sujata is the one who offered the first dana to me. You are getting the same good karma, merits, just like Sujata, who offered me the first dana just right after I became the Buddha, or maybe just a while ago. So Chunda Kamara was relieved to know that. But anyways, and then this illness aggravated. And in Kusinara, the Buddha had to pass away. Sometimes sicknesses are going to win, right? Either that comes from a karmic issue, maybe our own issue. But anyways, so this is that Chunda. Okay, that is what I was trying to tell you. This Chunda in this sutta is that Chunda who offered the last dana, the last meal to the Buddha. So, as I said earlier, we don't exactly understand Sukara Madhava to be a pork, sweet or tender pork, or it was mushroom. I know in Sri Lanka there was a times there were people writing booklets at that in Sinhala language. No, my Buddha didn't eat meat, and it was mushroom. You know, there was a very tense, argumentative level of discussions going on. But we don't know what exactly happened. But we understand that literal meaning is as such. Anyways, this was the story with regard to the Chunda Kamara's connection to the Buddha. Now we will look at the sutta. Okay, Chunda Sutta. Anguttara Nikaya's 10th section. Now, normally we understand when sutta is mentioned in the Anguttara Nikaya's 10th section, it must have something, right? What should it have if it is 10? There must have 10 things, right? This sutta must have 10 things. But we do understand here in this translation, the Buddha explains a deeper meaning of purity in kaya, body, and in vacha, speech, mana, mind, not in rites or rituals, right? Demonstrates that the former underlies the latter, whose insufficiency is made of. Now, can you find out 10 things over here? What are they? Kaya, we understand. This is none other than the bodily conduct. There are 3. Vacha has 4.
Oh,
And mana has 3.
3.
So this is number 10. This is why it has become a part of Anguttara Nikaya's 10th section. Okay, so we are going to now look at the background story. Perhaps I may have to make it bigger like this. And I will see some of your Pali skills, how skilled will you going to be reading this Chunda Sutta. Impromptu Sutta reading. This is interesting, right? Like those people who go to Toastmasters Club, they're asking, can you give an impromptu speech? There is no topic you think about. You come up with a topic. In the same way, we are going to read this part. So who would like to read this part? Not too many. You can raise your virtual hand. Sumita, please go ahead. Yes, Sumita, please go ahead.
Evening, Bhante. So
Good
I'll
evening.
be reading.
Yes.
Evang me sutang. Ekang samayang bhagava bhavayam viharati chundassa kamara puttassa ambavane atako chundo kamara putto yena bhagava tenupasan kami upasan kami tua bhagavantang Abhivadetva ekamantang nisidi.
Okay.
Ekamantang nisinam ko chundam kamara puttang bhagava etadavocha.
Okay, great. Yes. I hope that everybody will come to that kind of reading.
Thank you,
Certain
Bhante.
kind of your reading. Yes, it's good. Okay, let's see. Evang me sutang. This part comes because someone is reading, most probably Anguttara Nikaya. Normally it is said Anguttara Nikaya was preserved by Arahant Anuruddha and his disciples, right? Samyutta Nikaya suttas were preserved by Arahant Mahakashyapa and his disciples. And Majjhima Nikaya's suttas were preserved by Arahant Sariputta and his disciples. And Digha Nikaya by Venerable Ananda and his disciples. So overall, it is said that Venerable Ananda is the one who recited all these suttas. And then he said, we have to distribute because we have to take turns. It's a lot. And then these traditions, we call Bhanaka traditions, can preserve in their own way. So this part, Evam Me Suttam, is a phrase that is recurring in every sutta. Now the background. Ekang Samaya Bhagava. So the Buddha, once the Buddha, Pavayam Viharati. The Buddha lived in Pava. Pava is a city, right? Pava. So who was in Pava? Has anybody searched about Pava before? P long A, V long A. Pava. It is said that Pava had a number of kings. We call them as Malla kings. Malla kings in Pava. M-A-L-L-A. Mallas in Pava, right? So anyways, actually when the Buddha came to this Chundakamara's place, he also was invited by Mallas to come to open a certain place, maybe a multi-purpose place. He was invited by that time. After this, the Buddha went to declare open that too. So anyways, Chundassa Kammara Puttassa Ambavani. So this means Chunda Kammara is a person who was engaging in the metal industry. He had a mango grove. Do we know any other mango grove that the Buddha lived during his time? Mango grove?
Umbali.
Pardon me?
There's a lady, Umbali gave
Ambapali.
Ambabali.
Ambapali, yes.
He gave the Bengal Grove. She's
Yeah. Yes.
Custodian or what?
Yeah, she was a courtesan. She was the
Courtesan, yeah.
escort. And then she invited the Buddha over to her Ambavana. She offered the Ambavana as well. Later she became a nun and she even attained Nibbana. So then this is another mango grove. So that means Buddha spent some time here. And what happened? Atako chundo kammara putto yena bhagavate nupasankami. Pasankamitva bhagavantang abhivaditva ekamanta nisiti. Now, Chunda Kammara, having seen the Buddha, he approached the Buddha, where the Buddha was staying at that point. And he abhivaditva, having respected, bowed down. Ekamantang nisiti, took a seat on a side. Ekamantang nisinnang ko Chunda Kammara putta bhagavayata Buddha. So Chunda Kammara, who has taken a seat on a side, now waiting for the Buddha, and then the Buddha told this to him. What did the Buddha say? He asked a question. Kassano twang chunda socheyani rochesiti. This is very interesting. Socheyani. What is socheya? Socheya. What is socheya? Has anybody heard this word before? Socheya. Socheya means purity, purification, purity. Right? Socheya. Then, but here the Buddha asks in plural way. Plural means not purification, not purity, purities, purifications. Now he was asking Chunda Kammara, do you like purities? Do you like purifications? Of course, right? Purifications. Roche seat, you can see over here. Which kind of purification, Chunda, have you been pleased with? Roche seat. Brahmana Bhante Pacha Bhumaka. This is an interesting place, how he felt about the Brahmins. Kamandaluka Seva Malika Aggi Paricharika Udako Rohaka Sochiyani Panyapet Tesaha Sochiyani Rochimi. Now, what does it mean? Now, Chunda Kammara is telling the Buddha, Bhante, I have not seen a lot of purifications or teachings of purifications of other teachers, but I know I'm kind of exposed to the Brahmins' ways of purification. What kind of Brahmins are they? Brahmana Bhante Pacha Bhumaka. Pacha means Bhumaka means an area. This is about some kind of a geographical area in India. Pacha Bhumaka Brahmana. Pacha Bhumaka means Pacha Bhumaka. Brahmins in Western India. This is mostly connected to Punjab. Now we do understand the civilization to the Mesopotamian and Indus Valley's civilization. In the history of Aryanization, Aryans were supposed to come from ancient Persia, right? What is Persia in today's time? If you have studied some history, Persia, there's no Persia at the moment.
Iran. Is it
Iran.
Iran?
Iran and Iraq, both countries were together at that time. So it is said that the Aryans, the Buddhists, what you call in India at that time, they said they were skin-wise little bit darker people. We call them Dasyus. So the Aryans, even the people who came to the Buddha's lineage and all these people, they were supposed to come from modern Iran. Actually, if you have been to Iran, if you know some Iranians, you see that they are quite similar to these Western Indian, I would say, the Buddhist area people. Their features and everything. And as someone who has been studying Sanskrit for my undergrads and PhD, I have studied extensively about the connection between Persian language to Sanskrit. Very much connected. Persian has, we call Avesta, and these works have tremendously influenced Sanskrit, which was 1,500 before the Buddha's time, years before the Buddha's time, many centuries. That means Aranization happened long time ago, 1,500 before the Buddha's time, perhaps many centuries before. So anyways, now the area, here the Pali word is what you call Pacha Bhumaka, means the Brahmins who were living in West India at that time. We call that area as Punjab. Punjab means a place of 5. Some say it's a place of 5 rivers at that point: Narmada, Ganges, Yamuna, Godavari, and Kaveri. These were the 5 main rivers during the Buddha's time. Now the rivers' name have taken differently. We understand Ganges. So the Brahmins who were living in West India at that time used to practice a certain way of purification. And I'm very exposed to their ways of purification. Let's see. What was their purification? Some Pali words here. Okay, number 1. Kamandaluka. Kamandaluka. Kamandaluka means they were water pitchers. They were people who were carrying water with those pitchers. They were water pitchers. Kamandaluka. This is an interesting Pali word. And then number 2, let's understand their nature of purification. Sevala Malika. Malika. What does Malika mean? Malika means jasmine. And here Malika means, similar. Perhaps the jasmine garlands. But here Sevala Malika. Sevala Malika means they were wearing certain garlands that had moss, M-O-S-S, moss. Sevala means, perhaps you understand when a water tank or any place which has water is not properly clean, moss is going to be created in that particular place. So these what you call flower gardens were having moss. So we call sevala. Sevala means moss, M-O-S-S. Malika means gardens, flowers. And so they are water pitchers, and they were wearing garlands that had moss, and then Aggi Paricharika, number 3. Aggi means
Fire.
a fire. Aggi. Paricharika. Paricharika means they were worshipping the god of Agni. Now, in Hinduism, if you study Hinduism, if you had studied, the first god, the main god that they are respecting is Agni. Agni Mile Purohita. That means you cannot connect to any other god without the support of Agni. Why? Agni is the go-between. Why? Normal people, ordinary people cannot connect to the god. They have to see a Brahmin, a priest. The priest say, you can't connect to the god. I connect you to the god. Right? This is the idea. Right? It's like a trunk call. A long time ago, we couldn't call people directly. We have to call the post office and can you put me to that particular place? It's like a trunk call. I mean, we understand here that the priest is asking the ordinary people, you cannot connect to the God directly. You contact me and I will connect to the God. So this connection is made through the Agni God. Think about other gods, Varuna, Vishnu, Ishvara, Pajapati, Mahabrahma, Savitru, Surya. All these gods cannot be connected without offering oblation to the Agni. Now, these Brahmins, they were worshipping the Agni god, Agni. And then, the fourth characteristic to understand about the Brahmins' purification is Udako Rohaka. Udaka means?
Water.
Udaka means water. Then this one, Arohaka means? Arohaka. Arohaka means? Immerse in water. The Brahmins would like to stay in the water. They go down in the water, they go up, go down, go up. They say purification. It's like a baptism, Hindu baptism in a way, because the more you go up and down, the more pure you are. That is an idea, right? So this bathing ritual is what we understand here. Udake Avarohaka, that means immerse in water. How many times do Brahmins do that? Morning, lunch, evening time, they do it. Because they feel if they do it morning time, lunchtime, evening time, they can be, the more they do, the more they feel that they are becoming pure. That is what Hinduism believes. We don't have to say anything bad about it. This is what they are believing. And now Cunda was telling to Buddha, Bhante, I know the Brahmins in West India, they are water pitchers. They are wearing garlands, which have moss. They are worshippers of the Agni god, and they are always immersing in the water. So this is the kind of purification, Socheyani Panyapenti. This is the kind of purifications the Brahmins I know here in West India establish or ask us to do. Tesahang Socheyani Rotin. So therefore, because I know only this kind of purification, I like it. I believe it. I believe them. Right? This is his idea now, Chunda's idea. Now let's see. Going further. Yata Katang Panachunda Brahmana Pacha Bhumaka Kamandaluka Sevala Malika Aggi Paricharika Udako Rohaka Socheyani Panyapinti. Now what is the Buddha doing here? He knows what's happening, but he's making him curious. Tell me, how is it happening? sometimes you might do the same thing, right? You know what is going to happen, but you're still making the other person become curious, right? So the Buddha is asking him, how are they establishing? You are saying what they are doing, but tell me in a clear way, how are they doing this? How are they telling you to engage in this purification as well? Let's see. Same thing, so we don't have to translate. Okay, this is an interesting point. This part, maybe we're going to be asking someone to read this part. I know it's a little bit of challenging, tough part, but Buddhists are going through tough things. So you may go read. Yes, Padu, please. See.
Can I have the paragraph?
I think perhaps you will read up until, yeah, I think it's everything is same. So either Bhante. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Idavante Brahmana Pachabukkama Kamandaluka Sevala Malika Agi Paricharika Uda Orohaka Te Sabakam Evam Samadapenti Ehi Twam Ambo Purisa Kala Seva Uttahantova Sayanamha Patamvip Amaseyasi, nocha patavim, amaseyasi, alani gomayani, amaseyasi, nocha alani gomayani, amaseyasi, haritani, tinani, amaseyasi, nocha haritani, tinani, amaseyasi, agiparichan Reyasi, nocha agim, parichareyasi, panjaliko adicham, namaseyasi, nocha panjaliko adicham, namaseyasi, sayatatiyakang, uddakang, oroheyasi ti. Evam ko Bhante Brahmana Pachabu Makha Kamandaluka Sevala Malika Agipacharika Uda Orokaha Sochayani Panyapenti Te Sahang Sochayani Rochemi Ti.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Either Bhante Brahmana Pacha Bhumaka Kamandaluka Sevala Malika Aggi Paricharika Udako Rohaka. So we can actually make a pause whenever we see a comma. Te Savakang Evang Samadapenti Ehitwang Ambo Purisa Kala Seva Uttahantova Sayanamha Pataving Amaseyasi Noche Pataving Amaseyasi Allani Gomayani Amaseyasi Noche Allani Gomayani Amaseyasi Haritani Tinani Amaseyasi Noche Haritani Tinani Amaseyasi Aggin Paricharayasi Noche Aggin Paricharayasi Panjaliko Adichan Namaseyasi Noche Panjaliko Adichan Namaseyasi Saya Tatiyakam Uddakam Oroheya Siti Evan ko Bhante Brahmana Pacha Bhumaka Kamandaluka Sevala Malika Aggi Paricharika Udako Rohaka Socheyani Panyapenti Tesahang Socheyani Roshimiti. I think I just wanted to make it a little bit interesting. So maybe I'm going to pick up the interesting parts here rather than going too much onto Pali. So otherwise it might kind of, give you some different thoughts. All right. So how to understand this part? Now, the Buddha is expecting Cunda Kammara to tell him how are these Brahmins establishing people into this purification. You see the Pali word Samadapenti. This is very interesting. Samadapenti here, Panyapenti. That's how do they establish? Now, establishment of this particular purification must be a kind of observing, kind of an observance. Have you ever found out this Pali word anywhere in your reading? Samadapeti? Samadapeti? No? I think you are very aware that you know it very well. Panadipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiya. That's Samadhiya. That's Samadhi. Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhi. What is Samadhiya? Let me ask you, what is Samadhiya? Samadhiya. Adiyami means Adiyami. Adiyati.
I undertake.
Undertake. Adiyati means you draw, right? Pull. Because in the Atanatiya Sutta, the Buddha says, Ayam yakko gandhati. Right? Adi means pull. There are some bad yakkas trying to pull you, you know. Pull from your hair. Draw. Right? In the same way, samadhiyami means you are, what is samadhiyami? You are taking this particular training, disciplinary activity very honestly and then holistically. It's a bigger meaning, but you could say the proper, the popular translation.
Abstain.
Undertake. Abstain is Veramani. That is Veramani. Refraining abstinence means Veramani part. Now, Samadhiyami means that's the most important part.
Undertake. Is it undertake?
Samadhiyami here means I observe. Some people translate it, I observe this particular precept. I holistically observe, honestly, that I'm going to keep to this particular training, disciplinary activity. So, Veramani means refraining. Now, here, you can see samad, the same Pali verb, but samadha penti. This is how the Brahmins are administering us, are teaching us in purifying, right? So Brahmins are like monks and nuns, right? They are also giving Dhamma talks in their own way, Hindu Dharma talks. They are telling you have to purify yourself, right? Now, when you go for a Dhamma, meditation retreat, listen to a Dhamma talk, how many times are monks telling you to purify yourself, right? I think 90 out of 100 words. The most important thing that they are saying is that purification. That's the most important thing, right? So in the same way, Hindu Brahmins, they are highlighting, placing emphasis on the purification. So asking or administering other people in that. Let's see how they are doing. Ambo Purisa. Ambo. What is Ambo? What is Ambo? You can see here. Ambo. Ambo. Ambo is not Ayo. Ambo. Ambo means hello, hello, man or person, right? Ambo. And then Ambo Purisa. Kalas, okay, this is what they are saying. Number one, if you want to purify yourself, you have to start it early in the morning, right? So Brahmins are telling their devotees, the first thing is, Kalaseva Uttahantova Sayanamha Pataving Amaseyasi. What is Amaseyasi? Amaseyasi means touch, stroke, or touch. What are they asking people to touch early in the morning?
Earth.
Pataving Amaseyasi. So, Kalaseva Uttahanto. So you wake up early in the morning. Once you woke up early in the morning, you got up. And the first thing is that you need to stroke the ground or touch the ground, right? Assuming at that time, perhaps there were no beds the way that we use now. Perhaps it must have been an easy thing for them anyway. So they have to touch the ground. So this is the first purification that they are saying. Is this a good way to purify us? Early in the morning, you wake up and touch the ground. The Brahmin's way. In English, we understand when people are becoming very superficial,
Grounding.
superficial. The idea is that, you have to be a down-to-earth person, You are in the sky all the time. Whatever you are talking, they are not making sense. Be a down-to-earth person. What is down-to-earth? Yeah, down-to-earth. That means at least touch the ground and see. The same thing the Buddha did when the Mara was challenging the Buddha. This enlightenment is not yours. So the Buddha said, I have no proof, but the only proof is this earth. And he touched the earth, and earth gave a lot of tremors. There was an earthquake, kind of earthquake thing. That means this Brahmin's idea to touch the ground is not that kind of nonsensical idea on the surface place. They are not stupid people. They are not unwise people, but they have some ideas, So that means Brahmins say to their followers, when you wake up early in the morning, get up, touch the ground. I am not in the sky. I am here, right on the floor. Perhaps this is in a figurative level to tell us in a way you should not live in superficial, artificial mentalities. You are here right now. So then you understand. I'm right now. I'm here. But Brahmin's idea was just to touch the ground, and then perhaps they want to locate themselves where they are. And then second thing,
Bhante, can I ask? Is it a way like modern days we see grounding? You walk barefoot on the ground or touch the ground, grounding yourself.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was trying to say now, because I think this idea has certain other things to think about. Let's finish this whole overall picture about how Brahmins ask others to purify. So number one is that once you woke up, you need to touch the ground. This is what the Brahmins ask their followers. After that, noche pataving amaseyasi. What is noche? If you don't, very interesting. If you don't, that means one of the things is enough. Let's say someone cannot touch the ground as such, then noche, what does noche mean in Pali? If not. Noche, another one is sache. Sache, not sache, okay? Sache. Sache is something like it. Coffee sache. Sache or noche, that means if not, right? If not, then there is another option that you can do. This is not the Buddha's thing. You don't need to do that right away. I'm just trying to explain to the Brahmins purification. Otherwise, you might write down, I'm going to do it. You should not. So anyways, second is, if not, pataving amasya. See, Allani gomayani amasya. Understand what is Allani? Allani means wet. Gomayani, cow dung. Wet cow dung. Okay. So that means if you cannot touch the ground, then you should touch the wet cow dung. Right? So what does it mean? In other words, this means somebody must have slept next to a cow, right? Right? Otherwise, he could have touched the ground easily, thinking that perhaps one of the persons was sleeping next to a cow in a place that the cows were living. If you couldn't touch the ground, touch the wet cow dung. Then, if not, all these are purifications. Noche allagomayani amaseyasi. Then what they can do, if not, haritani tinani amasey. Haritani means, harita means green color. Tinani means grass, green grass. Then touch the green grass. Perhaps the Brahmins were, maybe Hindus, they were lying down, sitting at different places. So I think depending on the place, they were able to touch those things. Haritani means green Tinani means grass. Noche haritani tinani amaseyasi. In case so if you cannot touch as such, then agin parichareyas. Then you need to worship the god Agni. Think about someone who is next to a Hindu statue, maybe the priestly place or temple. At that point, you may start worshipping the god according to the priest, Hindu priest in that particular place. And then Noche Agim Paricharayasi. If you cannot worship the Agni god, then Panjaliko Adichang Namis. Yes. That means Panjaliko means with clasped hands, with folded hands. Adichang means sun. S-U-N, sun. Then you respect the god of sun, Surya Deva. Right? Now, this is what we understand as the purification in Hinduism. Noche Panjaliko Adichang Nameseyasi. Now, say for instance, someone even cannot get to any of these things. What are they? Touching the ground, touching the wet cow dung, then touching green grass, then worshipping the Agni god, or worshipping the Surya, the sun. If not, what you could do is that Saya Tatiyakam, even for the third time, that means 2 times they were immersing in the water before. Third time, Udakang Oroheyas, means if you cannot do any of these things, for the third time, you go down in water, immerse in water, do the bathing ritual for the god. Immerse in water and come out of the water. Right. So finally, what we know is that their purification starts from water festival. I would say this immersing in water, and then there are other small rituals. And if any Brahmin follower couldn't get to any of these things, what they can do, they can again immerse in water. Now this is what Cunda told the Buddha. Evanko Bhante Brahmana Pachabhumaka Kamandaluka Sevala Malika Aggi Paricharika Udako Rohaka Socheyani Panyapenti Tesahang Sochenti Roche. Okay. We have to do maybe 2 sections here. Anyatako Cunda Brahmana Pachabhumaka Kamandaluka Sevala Malika Aggi Paricharika Udako Rohaka Socheyani Panyapeti. Anyatachapana Ariyasa Vinay Socheya Modit. Cunda, this is how Brahmins in West India practice purification. But in the Dhamma, he could say Ariyasa Vinay, in the noble discipline, this is not the purification. Now the Buddha is trying to teach Cunda the proper purification that we need to understand in the Buddhist teaching. That is up to our future 3 sessions. But now we're going to have a pause at this point, and then we are going to talk about purification in many other perspectives that we see in the Buddhist teachings. Okay, so what do we understand here is that external purification. This is what we understand in many religions. We don't have to go pick one by one. You know, in many religions, they have external purification, water, even that you get a chanting blessing. We do understand, yes, it's kind of an external blessing somebody's trying to give you. But what if you are full of greed, hatred, delusion, and you're asking monks to chant you, I mean, full of hatred all the time, full of greed, full of ignorance all the time, right? And they say, I need lots of blessings, But how do those blessings materialize into you, right? Then you are thinking, how come my person next to me who was listening to the chanting got more blessed? Somebody asked, how do you know that person was more blessed? Things are really happening in his or her life, much better than you, much better than me. Is something wrong with you then? It's not the chanting. Because when someone is giving something good to us, we should be able to get it, especially in this way, purification. We have to purify us, then more blessings will come to us. So I think this is a very important thing to say. Normally, you might understand purification is A to B, C to D. But how does A's blessings go to the B? It does not go in a linear process. A has blessings, now A gives the blessings to the B. But if the B is willing to get the blessings, B is trying to free oneself from loba as much as he or she can do, as much as dosa, and as much as moha that he or she can overcome. This is how more blessings are trying to come to our life. So I think with this particular intersection about purification, that the Buddha is always asking us to look at internal purification. But he has not what do you call criticize about external purification too. There are many suttas where Buddha talks about cleanliness. We need that cleanliness. Why? It is important to give some self-care to us. Right? Self-care will become the purification at the end, right? Think about someone. Why do I have to put makeup? Because I'm going to die one day. Everything is anicca. So my face is also anicca. No makeup, nothing, right? And then why do I have to go for a certain, maybe a treatment? It might be a medical treatment. Because death will come to us no matter we keep away from these things or not. But what we need to understand is we need a certain appropriate cleanliness in our life. That is very important. And plus, it is a very good impression that you are making to other people, right? Nobody would like to be with people who are not properly taking care of other people, oneself. So that's why external purification is necessary, but not too much, right? We have to understand how far we are going to go with that external purification. And when different people are going through that, they are doing it different. So we cannot blame anybody. Someone wants to do more, someone wants to do less. But anyways, it is important. But more than that, internal purification is more important. So to discuss that, I'm going to go to a note that I made some time ago. I hope that you got it through the WhatsApp group. Let's see. No one can purify you. Why early Buddhism, the sutta says, you are not dirty and not clean either. Let's see. Kind of a purity paradox that we do understand about Buddhism on both sides. See. Purity, the first thing that we're going to discuss, depending on the time today, a little behind, purity is not what the world thinks it is according to Buddhism. Early Buddhism deconstructs external purity. What are they? Ritual baths, caste-based notions, and extreme asceticism. They are useless if the mind is still defiled by lobha, dosa, and moha. Now, let's talk about ritual baths. Have you ever seen that some Buddhist traditions, they are highly emphasized about ritual baths?
Yeah, Hindus at
There
the
are.
Ganges River.
Yes,
There are
River
certain,
Ganges.
there are Buddhist traditions, they are highly emphasizing on the ritual bath. Now we do understand these are mostly coming from their lineages, not from the early Buddhist texts. Because remember, there was another example in another sutta. There were many Brahmins, I think near Ganges. They were taking a bath in the Ganges, and then the Buddha asked them, "What are you doing, Bhante? What we are doing here is that not even we are purifying, we are trying to compensate for the bad karma we may have done in past life. That's why we early morning we come to the Ganges. Lunchtime also we come to the Ganges. Evening also we come to the Ganges. So the more we take a bath in this Ganges, the purer we are. Then you know what the Buddha asked? Then what do you think about the fish in the Ganges? They must be very, very pure, right? The fish, tortoise, other animals, they must be very pure, right? So they were like, they didn't know what to talk to him at that point. Because Brahmins were very hardwired, in their mindset. And then the Buddha left at that point. So that means ritual baths, they are not recommended in Buddhism. I'm not trying to say anything wrong, bad about anybody who is doing that in the Buddhist tradition, but according to early texts, that is not the plan, right? Number two is caste problem. What is that? Now, in India at that time, there was this idea that when you are born into Brahmin caste, Kshatriya caste, Vaishya caste, Shudra caste, you tend to form a certain caste actually. They say Brahmins are born from the mouth of the Ma Brahma. And Kshatriyas were born from, where were they born from? Why do we have to look at it? Right? We don't have to look at it where they're born from, but it is said that they were born from
Is it throat?
another place of the Mahabrahma's body.
The hand.
Right?
Throat.
Yes. Hands, yes. 2 hands. And then what about the Vaishyas, the merchants in India at that time? They were born from the Uru Tadasya, thighs of the Mahabrahma. And the most underprivileged group called Shudras, they were born out of the feet of the Mahabrahma. And there were another 5 groups. They are called Panchamas, hunters. They have no place to be born from the Mahabrahma. I don't know how they are born from, but anyways, it is said that they were born from somewhere. So then the idea here is that the Brahmins were always saying you were born out of this and that because you have not purified yourself. Buddha said this is useless. We don't have to look at anybody from the place of this person. And the Buddha said the true Mahabrahma is our mother and father, parents. Brahmati Mata Pitaro. And then the last one here, which we understand is caste notions and then asceticism. What is this? The Jains, Nigantanathaputtra's philosophy. They said, if you give more pain to the body, you can compromise, you can compensate for your bad karmas you may have done in the past life, right? So the Buddha said, no, we can't do that. You don't have to give pain to the body. When you give pain to the body, you are not happy. That creates sadness, that creates hatred, and that creates more bad karma. So the Buddha found out Majjhima Patipada, right? So purification does not come from any of these channels because it's not external. Purity is a process, not a status. Purity isn't something you are, it's something you do. It's not a condition imposed by birth, which we said just now, and monk or nun, but a psychological transformation through meditative development. Like when someone is going to be a monk and nun, senior monks ordain him more. What are they ordaining? Are they ordaining his mind or her mind? Or are they ordaining just the body? From today, we are going to shave your hair. We give you the robes. You stay in the temple. What is this all about? External purification, right? Can they ordain that person's mind? No, it is only up to that person. That's why sometimes we see even in the Buddha's time, there were monks for 20, 30 years, but their mind was not ordained. Only the body was ordained, right? Mind has to be ordained. Sometimes we see some lay people, maybe they are wearing lay clothes, but their mind is more ordained. So it's happening on the both sides. So the Buddha said, even though you may be a priest, you may be a monk, monastic nun, your mind also has to be ordained. Because ordained means go to that kusala thoughts all the time. That is when you are really trying to purify yourself. So it's a process. So that means just because you wear the robes, just because you become a monk in whatever tradition, nun, you are not going to pure in that way. Externally, yes, you will show it, but internally, it has to happen. Even the concept of purity must be let go. The truly awakened sees beyond dualities. What are the dualities? Purity, impurity. The obsession with purity becomes a hindrance when clung to. The purest being does not label anything pure. What is that? In our life, now think about someone who is keeping his or house very clean, right? Think about somebody who's very much into cleaning, deep cleaning, right? Suddenly somebody is going to mess up, right? That particular house. It can happen, right? Think about a baby is coming to your house, when somebody is coming to your house, right? So the house can be a mess, right? Sometimes the purity can be an obsession, the thought of externally being pure. So that's why the Buddha said, we do understand conditions where things can go differently. So we have to understand what is external purity, what is impurity. If something goes wrong, we patiently look at it and then deal with it. So when we practice the Majjhima Patipada, middle path, Noble Eightfold Path, things are unrolling, unpacking in the proper way. And no one can make you pure, not even the Buddha. That's very interesting. Who said that? Who said that even the Buddha also cannot make us pure? Let me ask you, who said it? Even the Buddha also cannot make us pure. Who said it? Buddha himself, not us. Buddha himself told us, Tumhehi kichang atappang akkataro tathagata. I cannot take you to Nibbana. I only teach you. You follow, you go. Right? This is why I put a little funny way of saying that, it's kind of a, what do you call it? It's a DIY enlightenment, do it yourself. Right? It's up to you. Tumhehi kichang atappang akkataro tathagata. Dhammapada 276. You yourself must strive. The Buddhas only show the way. Right? No one can sprinkle water on your forehead and set you clean. You purify yourself through wisdom, effort, insight. And this idea, this is also from Dhammapada, paradox. Purity arises by embracing the impure. Yatha agarang suchanna buddhi na samati vichati. Evang subhavitan chittang rago na samati vichati. Just as rain cannot leak into a well-thatched house, lust cannot penetrate a well-developed mind. This means even when lust, raga, hatred, dosa, and confusion, moha arise, the well-trained mind doesn't let them in. You don't fight defilements with repression, you outgrow them. What does it mean? That means in order for us to understand purity, we must first understand what is impurity. Right? In order for us to practice Dhamma, Kusala, we must understand what is Akusala. Very easy. Right? It will become easier. Right? If you want to eat good food, you have to understand junk food well. Huh? Yes, I'm not eating junk food. You have to make yourself, right? Now for this, if you want to really take care of yourself, you have to understand how can I not take care of myself? In what ways I will not take care of myself, right? So always this pole opposite and understanding about the pole opposite will help us to navigate our good side, right? So here we understand that it's very important to understand the pole opposites of our mental states that can help us to stay on to purity in a better way.
Bhante, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I don't understand why they say purity arises by embracing the impure. Embracing the impure, that means you practice the impurities, right?
No,
No.
no. Let me ask you, why did the Buddha say Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami? I take the precept.
And abstain,
Yes,
abstain,
because
yeah.
why the wrong thing has been given? Why could have he I mean given the good thing? I take the precept of taking care of myself and everybody. Second, I take the precept of taking care of everybody's belong. Why he used I am not going to kill anybody, and I take it as precept. I'm not going to steal. Why? It is very important to create moral boundaries so that I know, this is the crossing the boundary. I don't want to cross my boundary. This is the moral boundary. So that's why here we have to understand it's not we practice impurity and understanding about the akusala side
So
will help us
what
carry on
does the
purity.
English word embracing means?
I think you are juggling with the English word here. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Embracing doesn't mean you are going to practice the impure. Embracing means accepting the nature, the working of the impure. Right?
Okay.
Sometimes we don't accept our own anger. This is a good example. We don't accept our own anger. We always try to justify, make excuses. You know, that was a distracted time. Don't worry. I will not be angry again. Then I will become angry again. Why? I just did not understand that I was angry. You want to make a perfect person in front of other people just to make lame excuses. You know? I will not become as such.
Yeah.
Right?
I
One day
understand.
let's say somebody's late one day. The next time I won't make it happen. But what if giving some thoughts, this lateness, what did I go through? What made me to get into that lateness? Right? So I think that will help me to give a very good understanding about the opposite of that particular kusala activity. It doesn't mean we are doing that.
Yeah.
It is a good motivation for us to do. So that doesn't mean for those people who haven't done anything wrong, have to do a wrong thing and come back to do a good thing. Right? It's not the idea here. That means you are going to consciously looking at what happened to you already. And you're going to make them as what you call teaching moments in making you a better person. Okay, so we're going to continue a few more things. I think 6. The ultimate purity is the absence of I. I think we understand. Sabbe Dhamma Anatta, right? So I think we are always gathering things because of I. Even when we are learning Dhamma, I learn Dhamma. I have a good understanding. When I meditate, I meditate. I said, somebody cut I and think about what happened with meditation. Meditation happened, no meditator. There you go, you know. I meditated for 7 hours today. Cut I. There was a meditator early in the morning, but after you started, there was a meditation, no meditator, right? So we are, I mean, naturally building up I. Yes, we have to conventionally build up I. There's no wrong. I have my mother, I have my father, I have a life. Yes, but with the understanding, there's no permanent I. That's the way. While believing that I exist conventionally, but not ultimately. So I think if somebody can do as such, there will be less moments that someone is going to impurity. And finally, Buddhist purity we call Suddhi, not ritualistic, transformative, not fixed, fluid. Always it's on a changing narrative, changing dynamic. Not it's external, it's more towards internal, not achieved but realized, and not personal and selfless. And again, what we understand is ego, sakkaya ditthi narrative. So what I was trying to tell you was that try to understand purity going beyond external aspects, but do not overlook external part as well, because we need some cleanliness, some clarity, but more towards internal purification. Okay, so before we go for the Q&A, I already got a question here from Mr. Ho. What are your thoughts on such statement? You need to purify through vegetarianism. Yeah, I mean, there are thoughts that different people may have in their own ways. They may have an idea that we can purify, or that person can purify, being on a diet based on vegetables and as such. So we cannot say it's bad. It's that person's view, right? But different people have different thoughts about this thing. So we cannot go and then individually ask what diet you are having, and that has an effect on Dhamma practice. So that's a way of thinking. All right.
Bhante,
Yes.
but the goats and the cows they are vegetarians, so are they very pure? So doesn't make sense, isn't it? Because what we eat
I
doesn't
think,
make us impure, but our thoughts and our deeds.
okay. So what we need to understand here is that in the modern eating behaviors, there are people who have their own ways of thinking about life, spiritual life, vegans, vegetarians. I mean, we don't have to touch them, let them practice their own thing. But in Buddhism, what we are more focusing is that we are trying to cleanse our akusala. That is our main area to think about. Maybe you might be a non-vegetarian, maybe a vegetarian, but you may still have lobha dosa. Then you are still impure. That's the idea. So regardless of your eating habits or whatever other things, you need to focus on purify yourself through those three aspects. So we are going to pick up one by one from next section. Any other questions?
Bhante, just now I say that embracing the impure, embracing means value in English. You treasure, hold closely.
Accept.
So should not, I think it's a wrong use. The English word is wrong. Like what Bhante say, maybe accepting the impure as impure. Yes.
Mm.
I agree. Then you can purify yourself because you understand the impure as impure. But embracing is you value it and you treasure it. That means you treasure the impurity. So how can purity arises? It's the English translation, Bhante.
Yeah. Anyway, the English words sometimes may have different connotations, but the idea have to be taken
Yes.
through context. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Questions about today? First day?
Bhante, you're talking about ritual bath. So Viksa is just over. Is the bathing of the baby Bodhisattva a ritual bath?
Well, I don't think people do it to purify themselves. They just do it as a ritual, right? It's a Mahayana ritual. It's not a Theravada ritual. So
But
I
now
think
all temples accept it, Bhante. Yeah, all accept.
yeah, I think let's
Devotees
take
are asking for it.
yeah. Maybe because
The-
temples run in their own way. So I think what we are doing here is that we are learning what what exactly is the purification. We don't have to connect to the temples. So temples, there are many activities, some ritual activities as well. So but I don't think none of them going to the temple to purify themselves. They engaging in that particular ritual activity.
But
Yeah.
it's still a form of ritual, isn't it, Bhante?
No, we cannot say like that because I think the source for this bathing the baby Buddha comes from Acharya Buddhadhamma Sutta's statement that, when Prince Siddhartha was born, Bodhisattva is born, the Bodhisattva is showered by both cold and hot showers by
Correct.
4 world guardian devas. So this was the source of this that they are doing. Yeah, so we can connect it.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions? We can take maybe one or two. Yeah.
Bhante,
Please.
I'm curious to know this Cunda is the same with the Mahachunda in Bojjhanga chanting.
No.
Is it the same
No,
person or
no,
different?
No.
that's Arahan monk later
Yeah.
on.
It's not that this Chunda is from young to become a Maha. No. It's
No,
not
because this
this.
Chunda is a layman.
He's a
And
lay person.
just after he offered the dana, Buddha passed away within a couple of months. So he's a lay person.
Oh, he's a lay person.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Bhante, I'll ask you your opinion on the Vesak parade where they carry the Buddha image on sedan chair.
Huh?
They get the Buddha image they put on a sedan chair, and then the lay people will carry them. You see, but then in reality, the Buddha walk on foot. It doesn't go on sedan chair. I don't understand the significance of this.
That's why we have to draw a line here. Sometimes we cannot look at everything through the text. So we have to look at it a little differently. Now think about the role of the Sangha members and temples today compared to the Buddha's time. So there are certain things we have to look at it in a bit different way. Now think about when you go to a shrine hall, the Buddha's statue is depicted with a lot of lights, a lot of aura, right? But when you see the Buddha in the suttas, this is not what we see. So then what you need to understand is you don't have to conflict with that. The true Buddha in the text is like this, the temple Buddha is like this. So just have an understanding and then respect and come back. So because these two work little differently. Because the temple culture and the textual culture, they are sometimes two different things to understand. I think understanding that gives us to practice anicca, so that's how we have to look at it. Now then we have to create an argument, I mean, then why do monastics use transportation? They should have walked on foot, but it's not going to be possible, right?
There's a question.
So I think what we need to understand is we need to understand these rituals as rituals, different from the text sometimes, and not having a conflict with these ideas. Okay, we'll take one more question here. How
Yes.
about the sprinkle water blessing by Sangha members, usually after chanting sessions? Is it water purification? I think it is not water purification. The idea of this sprinkling water especially comes from the Thai culture. The idea.
How about the Ratana Sutta? No.
Yeah, Ratana Sutta also had it. It had it at that point. But Ratana Sutta, we understand that Venerable Ananda sprinkled water onto the empty places as well, not directly to the humans. So it's not a ritual, I think. So when devotees are getting blessings from Sangha members in that way, they have to understand, yes, the Sangha member here, the most important thing is not water, because we can get water from anywhere. The compassion that has been invested in the holy water, that is what they are sprinkling. But if I want to get the whole blessing, I must try to free myself from lobha, dosa, moha. So then more blessings will come to me.
Yes.
So, but if someone is not doing that, just waiting someone to sprinkle water, that might not be a good idea. That might not get a lot of blessings.
Yeah.
That's how we look at it. Otherwise, this will be another Hindu bathing ritual. Yes.
And then the MC has to be mindful with the words, because you should not say encouraging the lay people, come get your blessings and then you can strike lottery. That's not right. Yeah, the MC must be mindful with what to say. Because they encourage people to come out, receive the water blessing, so that you can strike lottery and be rich. That is not being mindful.
I think what we need to do, there is something that I want to caution you. When we read suttas, we have to be careful in not becoming kind of dry Buddhist about becoming perfectionist about the things that are mentioned in the text. Because once again, I want to say the temple culture, although we might not accept things in what's happening, we might not internally we might have different ideas about it, not accepting or rejecting. We have to look at it a little differently, because these are humans like us. They are also going to the temple. Sometimes these temples cannot find volunteers as well to do these things, even an MC activity and all that. So I think we have to look at it, these situations, with anicca in our mind all the time. Things are changing. Even these activities that we see in the text, they are also changing, right? Because if anicca is the first truth, everything has to be seen through anicca, right? Even the Buddha's Sutta text, how are things going to be practiced through anicca? So the particular scenario you are mentioning, I think, has to be, discussed within that particular group, and then how to announce and then do those things. And even if it happens that way, we don't have to worry about it. These are things that people are, making sometime. All right. If there are no more questions, we are going to wrap this up. It's a little bit late now. So we are going to transfer good karmas to the departed ones and Devanaga Mahidika. May departed ones receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. May Devanaga Mahindika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, and prosperity, safety. May they also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu sasanang. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanang. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang parang chirang rakhantu tvang sadanti. Finally, Dhammavish. Our Dhammavish is to be surrounded with Kalyan Mittas. May we also be becoming Kalyan Mittas to as many people as we can. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanibbana pattiyam. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making on the first day of Cunda Sutta be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. And next Friday, we are going to discuss about the first purification that the Buddha recommended. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Abhivadana silis nichang vaddha pacha'ino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vacha atu nibbana sampatti iminati samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With those blessings, wishing you a good night and be seeing you next Friday at the same time. Good night, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Bhante.
you,
Everyone,
Bhante.
Sarana.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good night,
Good
Bhante. Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
Bhante and
Okay,
everyone.
Bhante.
Good night. See
Thank
you all
you.
next
Thank
week.
you,
Sadhu,
Bhante.
Bhante, Sadhu. Good night, brothers and sisters. Good
Happy
night.
Teachers Day, Bhante.
Yes,
Thank
happy
you.
Teachers Day. Huh?
Yeah, happy Teachers Day, Bhante.
Thank you very
Everyone.
much. Yeah. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good night.
Aaron,
Liana. Thank you.
thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.